We are in industry first doing this. There is absolutely no podcast show for Foundries. I mean, we have that phrase, right? A picture can say 1,000 words. So what about video? How many words can video say? Hey guys, Ian Nazareth here, back with another video. Today is officially day 31 of the podcast since we began our first recording. So I want to thank you guys, especially for the really good support that you guys have shown us. I didn't expect it to grow so fast this quickly, especially after just a month of recording. Judging by our first recording, our first video, to this current one, there has been leaps and bounds in improvement, especially based on video quality, editing, and lighting. So we're all here to start with something, but the name of the game is improvement, and that's what we're doing. So thank you again, guys, for the love and support. We've seen a lot of love for the podcast in particular, like Mr. Suresh Chavan's video, the first one that we did, the podcast. So that video has done extremely well. Funny fact about that video is we had absolutely no intention of recording that probably an hour or 2 hours prior. In fact, I didn't even have a mic. I didn't have the tripod. Everything was pretty much new and in the packing. We had never unboxed any of that. So everything came out 2 hours prior. I was sitting with Mr. Suresh Chavan in the room. He said some things on camera and he really liked the way he looked. He's a handsome guy. Suresh, if you're listening, thank you so much. So that was the beginning of how we started our first podcast, and you know, the rest is history. The next one we did was with Mr. Ruma Rao 3 days ago. So that was also a really good video. It is officially now our second highest watched YouTube video, even though it came out 3 days ago. So that just shows how much these podcasts are being appreciated. So those are all things that will materialize in the next future, probably maybe towards the end of June. So I made this video particularly to explain to you guys again what a podcast is. A podcast is nothing but a video talk show. A talk show where you come, you talk about your brand, you talk about your company, you talk about your work culture, you talk about innovations, you talk about your experience. You can talk about anything that you want to do. The funny thing is we are in industry first doing this. There is absolutely no podcast show for Foundries. You know, other industries have done it, but nobody for some reason has done it in the Foundry industry. So what we're trying to do here is fairly new. It's something that is foreign to the Indian Foundry industry. And it's an absolutely great platform to anybody who wants to take advantage of it. Because having a reach that YouTube offers you, like for example, YouTube is a search-based engine platform. That means if somebody looks at your video or somebody Googles you about 5-10 years later, they can find you up on YouTube. That means if they Google your company, your interview will show up. If you have some really good innovations to share, if you've maybe filed patents, maybe you have done some really good stuff for the environment, or maybe you just want to market for your company, I mean, this is the perfect place to do it. And right now is the time to take advantage of it, because the Foundry industry has not adopted digital technology or digital marketing as much as other industries. The service and sales sectors have adopted digital marketing to an extent, but the max that they go on is maybe sharing brochures, sharing images, and stuff like that. But actually to go into content the way we are doing it right now, like in form of video, is something that can be found forever. It's something that can communicate with a much larger audience at the same time. I mean, we have that phrase, right? A picture can say 1,000 words. So what about video? How many words can video say? I mean, you judge, right? So the opportunity, guys, is right now to take advantage of this platform. I mean, you have billionaires today sitting on platforms like this and talking about their company and culture because they've understood the value of media. Media is something that we have underestimated for many years. It's 2024. So the best time to take advantage of media right now that we are offering is right now. Very simple how you can register for our podcast. You just go onto the website, you search for podcast, you fill in that quick form. We'll get your contact details. We immediately give you a call. We'll have a follow-up call where we go into detail about what questions we can ask you, what questions we cannot ask you, because that is also equally as important. Some of you guys don't like to share everything about you, your personal life and your company. So that is perfectly normal. No problem with that. So this is basically an open platform where you come, you can talk about anything. It's an open mic. You have a much larger audience. And it's absolutely free, guys. We are not charging anyone at all for the podcast, whether you're a manufacturer, whether you're a Foundry person, whether you're manufacturing equipment for the Foundry, maybe you're trading consumables, maybe you're manufacturing consumables, or maybe you've written a book, you know, simulation software, maybe ERP software. Whatever it is, guys, that you want to share, you just fill up that form, get in touch with us. We'll schedule a meeting and immediately we'll get you on the show. So that is what we're here to do. We are here to provide a platform to anybody that wants to talk in the industry. You have something to say, this is the place to do it right now. Anyway, I have a small diary here that says Carbon. I've been using this book basically to take my notes, to write anything that I have in my head, content ideas, maybe something that I want to expand on, talk about, anything that I need to keep a note of. So funny coincidence, I just added Mr. Vikram Khalaskar on LinkedIn today. So it's funny that I'm talking about his Carbon book over here. But anyway, maybe I'll take this opportunity to publicly invite him to the podcast. I mean, he's the chief operating officer for Carbon Minus. Carbon Minus had a nice extensive talk at WestCon 23. So what Carbon Minus basically does is it provides you the infrastructure to reduce your carbon footprint. And it not only does this from a point of compliance, but it also takes into effect and into account the ROI side of things. You know, I mean, something can maybe work for the environment at the same time as well as be a good return on investment. So that is what they're doing. Is going to be a game changer. Mr. Vikram Khalaskar, if you're listening to this video, I'm sure you're listening to this video because I'm going to send you this video. I'd like you to be on the podcast, and our audience will also like you to expand more about Carbon Minus and how it's going to revolutionize, especially in this age of EHS and compliance norms becoming very strict around Europe and the US. A lot of companies would like to export to the foreign countries, the West, and these safety and environmental norms are only going to get stricter and stricter. So great stuff you guys are doing, and I'd like to invite you to the podcast to share a little more in detail. Anyway, guys, I think that is pretty much it. Register for the podcast. That is why I made this video. Take advantage of the platform while it is here. We're the only guys to be doing this right now. This is something that will help a lot with your branding and overall marketing efforts that you guys are doing. So the only reason that this podcast is doing as well as it is because I have prioritized LinkedIn and made it one of my most important things to do. So that's just LinkedIn for you guys. Again, media is something that we have undervalued for a very long time. Not today, guys. Join the podcast. I'll see you on the inside. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe. Take care.